Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1997. Be prepared to be inspired.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. Today I'm in sunny Orlando, Florida, with a very special guest by the name of Dan Ritopecki. Dan, welcome to Cars Yeah. Do you have it in gear, and are you ready to release the clutch?
That I am.
All right. Now, I'm talking to a guy who moves around a lot. Dan was telling me in our pre-show chat that I don't think he stays in one place for very long. So he doesn't live in Orlando, but he's there. He moves around a lot, and you'll understand why in a minute. But before I get started and give you a proper introduction, my friend, what's one little thing that maybe people don't know about you?
Most people don't know that I was born outside the States. I was born in the former Yugoslavia, just outside of Belgrade.
And thus the Ritopecki name comes to light.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you live there for very long before you came to the United States?
No, I was very young when we emigrated. We actually moved to New York. My father came over as a diesel mechanic for Mercedes-Benz, and I perhaps at some point had a New York accent, which I've lost through the years as we moved upstate New York. So
yeah,
I get that quite a bit. You grew up in New York, but you don't have the accent.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of lost after a number of years of leaving the city.
First generation immigrants, that's very cool, coming to the United States, the American dream. And here we are, you're getting to play with cars. So let me give you a proper introduction, and we're going to dive into a very cool event that you're a part of. Dan Ritopecki is the auction director of the first annual Naples Motorcar Auctions, which takes place on Friday, February 4th at the Ultimate Garages in beautiful Naples, Florida. The auction is the new addition to the legendary Cars on Fifth weekend of events, with proceeds from the auction benefiting the museum and St. Matthew's House, one of Florida's largest nonprofits. The Ferrari Club of America Naples chapter has invited the Saratoga Automobile Museum to partner with them and St. Matthew's House to inspire and host a premier motorcar auction as part of the Naples automotive experience. Dan has been an integral part of running his family-owned and operated automotive dealership business and repair shop that's located in Fulton County. For more than 30 years, he became the museum's deputy auction director last March and auction director last September. We'll be back in just a minute to learn more about this event, but first a word from our valued sponsors, so give them a little listen, and we'll be right back. Oh, and get your bidder cards ready. I love Covercraft's new 5-layer all-climate cover. It was developed and engineered for anything Mother Nature can throw our way. It's very soft, breathable, and easy to store, and pampers your paint and interior surfaces, providing maximum UV, rain, dust, and snow protection. Add their gust guards for windy conditions for extra protection. Their 5-layer all-climate cover is custom-tailored with Covercraft's attention to detail, form and fit with a quality and attention that's been their standard since 1965. Covercraft protects cars, trucks, motorcycles, RVs, trailers, and watercraft too. Every one of my vehicles is protected by a Covercraft cover. And I have a deal for you. Use the code YEAH21 at covercraft.com and you'll get 10% off your Covercraft order plus free shipping. That's right, 10% off and free shipping. Just type in the word YEAH, Y-E-A-H, 21 at checkout, YEAH21 at covercraft.com. Covercraft, protecting the things that move you. Most people don't think about their collector car insurance until their annual premium becomes due. Well, why wait and see if there are better options for your beloved rides? I didn't. Did you know if you change carriers before your policy runs out, your insurance company has to refund you the unearned portion of your policy premium? I did my homework, I shopped around, and I found American Collectors Insurance. And that's who protects my Porsche Turbo. That's right, the one I call my Orange Crush. They've been protecting collector vehicles since 1976. I encourage you to call my friends at American Collectors Insurance. Ask them about their agreed value policy. And if your collector vehicle is on your regular auto policy, you will be shocked at the savings, not to mention the assurance, should something bad happen to your ride, that you'll get what your vehicle is actually worth. Give them a call today for a quote at 866-ACI-YEAH. That's 866 224-9324. Tell them you're a friend of Mark Green at Cars Yeah, American Collectors Insurance. Classic car insurance designed by collectors for collectors. Automotive enthusiasts just like you and me. That's American Collectors Insurance. Give them a call today. So Dan, we're back. So tell me a little bit about, first of all, your family business, this automotive dealership repair facility, your history a bit in life. And then we're going to talk about this Naples car auction because it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, so my father, like I mentioned earlier, came to the States as a diesel mechanic for Mercedes-Benz in the late 70s, right in the midst of the oil crisis. Fast forward 25 years, we move upstate. He starts an import shop because there was a need for one. I go off to college, I come back, I get asked to stay on for a year to kind of help move things along and get to the next level. And, next thing you know, 25 years go by. And we've built.
Did he shackle you to your desk? Is that what he did?
He didn't intend to, but, it's amazing how time flies. And, it's one of those things that I was really having fun doing what we were doing. And I felt that I wanted to help him. He's a great man, and, I was trying to help him elevate, and do the work that he loved and do it well. And so we were very fortunate to have a collector in our backyard that had an amazing collection of Aston Martins and Ferraris and Bugattis and all sorts of cars that we were privy to kind of help with and keep up. And so it made it a lot of fun in those years.
Yeah, well,
so that was
the career, the 1 year career that turned into a lifetime career.
Exactly.
Well, that's pretty cool. I want to learn more about this auction because we were connected to talk about this auction. It's kind of a first time out that what you're doing. Can you describe, and I gave some of it away, of course, in your introduction, of what this is all about, what it's going to be offering, what kind of vehicles are going to be offering, because you've just come from one auction, you're heading off to another. I mean, it doesn't seem like you sit very still these days.
Nope, it's definitely go, go, go. So Saratoga Motorcar Auction started off about 5 years ago to do an auction to raise money to basically help the Saratoga Automobile Museum stand on its own feet and have a revenue stream. And so we completed our fifth auction this past September. And prior to that, Dennis Flint, who is a member of the Naples Ferrari Motor Club and a huge influence in the Cars on Fifth experience, thought that it'd be great to add an auction to their experience. So we went back and forth and we partnered with the Naples Ferrari Club St. Matthew's House to do an auction as part of the Cars on Fifth experience. So two non-for-profits collaborating to raise money for St. Matthew's House as well as the Saratoga Automobile Museum. So Cars on Fifth kicks off on Thursday. There's a Jetport Reception. We're going to do the auction Friday, noon to 5, and then Cars on Fifth is on Saturday, and then we follow up on Sunday. There's a poker run, I think, somewhere to a resort, as well as post-sale with any auction cars left. So really, we're just two non-for-profits that have kind of teamed up to have an auction to raise some money and have a good time.
This is cool, and I want to talk about your charity of choice a little bit later in our talk because it's an important part of why you're doing this. But let's start with this is the 18th annual Cars on Fifth Concours. Do I have my numbers right?
Yeah, you're right. These guys started 18 years ago with 5 cars on third, 5 Ferraris, and they raised maybe $100, and they needed to find a charity to donate it to, so they did. And as years went on, the event grew and got bigger, and it got moved to Fifth, which, if you've ever been to, is quite a sight to see 500-700 cars lined up on both sides of the street. Mostly Ferraris, but also Lamborghinis and Cobras and Mustangs and McLarens and a slew of hot rods. It's quite the sight. I think it gets about 20 to 30,000 people depending on the year.
Oh my gosh.
So it's an amazing event, and we're really honored to be asked to partake and help make the event better and give it another venue.
Yeah, it sounds cool. It sounds a lot like the Concours on the Avenue that takes place to set off the Pebble Beach Car Week that happens every year, where they close down the center of Carmel by the Sea and they park cars up and down the street. It's just a fabulous event. Those kind of venues are nice because people attending can just walk right up to the cars. They can talk to the owners. It's a very casual setting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a family-oriented event. I think it's affordable, for entry, and it's awesome because it's, you could walk and see cars that you've never seen. And like you say, it's very casual. So it's a relaxed vibe. and I think makes for a lot of fun.
And then they have this beautiful reception at the Naples airport, the airport's elite jet hangar, which might go a little bit more upscale when you're talking about private jets and so forth. But is that also a venue that's open to people to buy tickets to, that they can go, and then that's all part of this money that's being generated for charity?
Yeah, absolutely. So it kicks off with the Jetport Reception, which is a wonderful event. It's in a hangar, live music, hors d'oeuvres, I think silent auction. So really, really well done event. Followed up, like I said, by the auction and then Cars on Fifth. I think at some point there's a discussion to perhaps have a one price ticket that gets you, admission to everything. Hopefully that happens in the future. But currently each event is standalone. So the Jetport Reception is on its own. And yes, you can buy tickets to attend. The auction is the auction. And we, unfortunately, it's only bidders and consigners because of the capacity at the event. Mm-hmm. And then you have Cars on Fifth on Saturday morning.
And tell us a little bit about Ultimate Garages of Naples.
Well, I'll tell you what a spectacular venue. So Dr. Jim has built this complex. I can't tell you how many, maybe 17. They're essentially like high-end car condos with additional storage above for folks that are away for the summer. Also, if there's an inherent storm or something that comes in, you can store your car. It's safe. The building is, I forget, like category 10 hurricane rated. So
nice.
Everything is all good, but it's just a spectacular setting. And the cars in these garages are out of this world.
Oh, yeah.
I think of Dr. Jim's. He's got an F40, I think LM, in the back. I peeked in another garage and there's a 300 SL cab, and the list just goes on and on. So it seems to us, it's a great venue. Dr. Jim's been great to work with and has basically donated the space for us, for the cause. So we're really happy and thankful that the Ultimate Garages is doing what they are for us and helping us put this event on.
So let's talk about your role as auction director of the first annual Naples Motorcar Auctions. What are some of the vehicles that people can expect to see there and hopefully bid on?
Well, it's interesting. We've got quite the array of cars. We've got a BMW Z1, which was never brought into the country, which is a really cool car. We have an M4 GTS, 1,600 miles. We have an Impala Super Sport, 63, I believe, white, red, immaculate condition. A couple of MGTDs, both in spectacular condition. We have a 1993 Cadillac Alante, pearl white red with 30,000 miles. That's a two-owner car that originally came from Naples, went to Connecticut, and now is coming back. We have a Ferrari 488. I think there's a 458. We most recently consigned a wonderful car, a 330 GTC, 1967. Nice. That's been, what a spectacular car. We just did a little video on the car and we went to take a peek and took it for a run. What an awesome car. Something to be said about a V12 Colombo, that's properly sorted. Oh, yeah.
Be still my heart.
Yes, indeed. It is an amazing car. 25-year ownership. Really, really awesome car. So we have quite the mix of cars.
Yeah, quite a big variety of cars. As an auction director and a guy who works in this field, let me ask you, we had a great pre-show chat, Dan and I. We talked probably for longer than we thought we would. But one of the things we talked about what is going on in the collector car market right now, and the fact that cars are selling for record prices. The industry seems to be on fire despite the 2-year shutdown of not only auctions, but events and all these things. Things are starting to come back in line, which is great. We all need to and want to get out and be amongst our friends again in the cars. What's your interpretation of why the collector car market is so on fire right now?
I think it's a mix of stuff. I think we're seeing a little bit of inflation and stuff. I don't think there's a lot of availability with new cars. I think with COVID, people sitting home and wanting to get out and having additional means, I think they went online and, one of the few things you could do, and we did during COVID, is you could hop in a car and go for a drive, and that was okay. You didn't have to worry about interaction with others. And I think we all needed to get out of the house.
Yeah, we still do.
Yeah, indeed. And look, at the end of the day, we'll go for a ride on a Saturday or Sunday, and it's therapeutic. It puts a smile on your face, and it's a very relaxing experience. And I think a lot of people share in that. And there's something to be said, too, about a naturally aspirated manual gearbox, the smell of petrol. It's definitely something to fall in love with.
Absolutely. Your role as an auction director must be somewhat inspiring because you're such a car guy. What inspired you to add this to your toolbox of things? Because as if you probably weren't or aren't busy enough with the family business, you thought, I think I'll take on a few more challenges under my hat. What was the driving inspiration for that?
Well, I signed on to help. Essentially, the past auction director was a one-man show, and the event was growing, and it's a lot for one person to sort of undertake. So I sort of signed on to segue to help. I wasn't traveling as much as a result of COVID, buying and selling cars, and so I was able to make this time slot to help and kind of try to get this to the next level. That was my entry, and I've helped along with this auction the last 4 years since its inception.
Yeah,
it's just never been a full-time position. So I decided to kind of give it a go. And here we are.
Yeah. You were telling me this morning, give our listeners here a quick brief on all the travels going on just this year so far.
Yeah, so this was quite the endeavor. So our museum is based in Saratoga Springs, and this auction is in Naples. So we've been kind of going back and forth, started marketing in November. So it's been a lot of back and forth. And then I've spent time in Florida working it from the East Coast up and down the West Coast. We're in Orlando because we were here for the Mecum auction just to see what they had to offer and, see people and, educate ourselves on numbers and cars and such. So, but it's been a lot of traveling through Florida, which has been nice to get out of the snow. So it hasn't been all bad.
No, absolutely. This time of year, for sure. Speaking of the Mecum auction, what was your overall impression of that auction? I mean, did you get a sense of people were there? Was a relief? I mean, obviously they did fairly well from what I heard on sales and so forth. Did it leave you with some optimism for the new year?
Definitely. I mean, I am blown away. I think the Friday sale was a record-setting sale in the history of automobile auctions. I think more cars sold, higher dollar amount in history, and I believe they surpassed that on Saturday. So it was quite an endeavor. So kudos to the folks at Mecum, because I think they put on quite the event and did very well. And it just kind of bodes to the strength of the market,
Yeah.
It really is. It's great to see. It's great to see that folks are still buying and appreciating and partaking. It's nothing we would have expected at the onset of COVID, that's for sure. We would have expected the opposite.
Absolutely. Yeah, last year I had Frank Mecum on this show, got to talk to him a bit about what was going on. Of course, that was deep in the depressionary period of COVID somewhat, but these auction houses, and yours included, have just figured out ways to work around all the mandates. Now, being in Florida, a lot less mandates, a lot less restrictions to have to deal with, but these other auction houses being across the country and dealing with some pretty harsh close down and rules and things. My hat's off to all of these folks that have figured ways to still make this happen and keep their businesses alive. It's really a testament to hard work and innovation and thought process, and at the same time being concerned for people's health and well-being and complying with the laws. And as they change every minute, it's been a tough year for sure. We're going to take a short break. Thank our sponsors. We come back. I want to talk about perhaps a challenge you face putting this process together or some kind of challenge in your life. So keep that thought in mind. We'll be right back. I've teamed up with AutoGeek because, well, they've been the leading source of auto detailing products, accessories for more than 20 years. Their Pinnacle Sovereign Paste Wax is specially formulated from Brazilian carnauba wax. It's easy to apply on any paint surface and provides that warm glow that we love, especially me on my vehicles. You're going to love it too. A favorite of car shows countrywide, Pinnacle Sovereign Paste Wax from AutoGeek wipes on easily, requires no drying time, is easy to remove, and provides up to 90 days of protection against damaging environmental contaminants. This wax is designed to exceed the standards of the most discriminating enthusiasts and collectors. Go to autogeek.net to get yours for the best product selection on the internet today, along with their very skilled technical support. Autogeek.net. That's where I go for all my detailing needs. That's autogeek.net. I've discovered Linkage. It's a new quarterly publication and website that covers the automotive market, driving, restoring, collecting, and discovering your passion for motor vehicles. Linkage is about experiences, opinions, and values. Linkage is an actual informed, reasoned opinion based on first-hand experiences. A talented Linkage team covers the automotive world, the people who share your passion and mine, smart, considered, rational, and experienced opinions. Ones you can learn from and grow. That includes our passion that drives auctions and the collector car market. So come with me and join us on this journey. And be sure to use the code CARSYEAH when you subscribe, and they'll give you $10 off. Boom! Linkage, geared for the automotive life. Subscribe today at linkagemag.com. So let's talk about this a little bit, Dan. I like to ask my guests to share a big challenge, maybe even a big failure they've faced, could be past or present, but it's more about what it taught you so you can move forward in a positive way. These are all really valuable learning lessons, albeit sometimes they're a little rough to go through. So take us on one of yours.
Well, actually, case in point. So we talked about earlier how I signed on in February to help with the auction. Fast forward to the end of August, September, and there was an abrupt exit by the previous auction director. So I inherited the whole kit and caboodle in the show, sort of at the last minute. So it was interesting to kind of pick up and essentially have everything thrown at you and figure out how to make it work. And
when that happens, when you get something, I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking about this because this is no little feat. Oh, I'd like to help. Oh, here, you're now in charge. Bye.
Clearly, that's what it was.
Yeah, drinking from a fire hose.
You got it. But, I found that stress fuels me. So that was good. I made the best of it. Look, it's like anything else. I'm the kind of person, and I would tell anybody, when there's a problem, you need to find a solution. You can't panic. You need to put a plan in place and just move forward. Thankfully, with the right plan and the right people in place, there's nothing that's insurmountable. When there's a problem, there's always a solution. And the solution isn't to run. Take it head on and figure it out. And, that's what we did. And we certainly had our share of challenges to overcome, but the team came together, and I think we did a good job of pulling through, and we made it happen. We hope to refine that and do better next year. So,
well, Dan, my hat's off to you because one thing I've learned on the show is that when we give back and help others is when we really feel the best about ourselves. And it really is the true testament to mankind, womankind, humankind. It's a nice segue into this next question, and that is helping others give back. You obviously have figured out that is an important part of your life, is helping others. You raised your hand and said, hey, I'll help you guys, Saratoga Auctions. And then they said, okay, we're going to dump a whole bucket on your head and see if you really want to help us here. But one of the things that all of these Concours events, many auctions, many events do is they raise money for charitable causes. And I've heard this over and over. Could you talk a little bit about the charitable cause some of this money is going to go to, in addition to helping the Saratoga Museum, of St. Matthew's House? What is St. Matthew's House, and why is that an important entity to help support?
So they are quite the organization. So they were founded many years ago, started off, I think, as a Bible study group in Naples. One of the members was walking home and saw a homeless person eating out of a dumpster, and just looked at it and said, this is unacceptable. How could it be that at this point in life, this is what's going on? So they got together, they put together a soup kitchen. Fast forward like 15 years later, and these guys have really got it figured out. So they are a homeless shelter. They have a substance abuse program for folks with substance abuse issues. They have a program for battered wives, mothers, and it's a complete rehabilitative program. They'll give them housing with folks. There's like a 1-year program for alcoholism and substance abuse, and they truly save lives. I mean, people have come out of this program that were on their way to death's door, because of addiction, and they come through this program that St. Matthew's puts together, and within a year and a half time, their lives are turned around. They've conquered, and it's truly amazing. And it's impressive how St. Matthew's does it, and how they have a bunch of businesses. So they have Lulu's Kitchen, right, which is a restaurant, and they also offer catering. And so folks going through the program have the ability to work. They have the ability to learn a skill. They're talking about implementing a cooking school. Yeah, they have a couple of thrift stores. You can work at a thrift store. They have a car wash. So all that stuff, obviously, to raise money for the organization to keep it going, but also, too, to help folks segue back into society in a productive way. So it's really impressive.
This is such an important issue. And we hear about the homeless issue around the country, and so many big cities having massive problems with it. And when you really dig down deep, and I've looked at this a lot, so much of it is substance abuse, is drug addiction. And it puts people in a spiral that they literally cannot get out of without some help. And when you just give somebody something, that helps them that moment, but it doesn't help them get out of that cycle. So it sounds like the St. Matthew's House has figured out this combination of things to help people figure out how to get back to being self-sustaining, and that's what it's all about, right? When you think about it, when I look at
absolutely,
when the economy is robust and strong, it's when people are employed And when people are employed, they feel good about themselves because they're self-supporting. I don't know anybody that likes to not be self-supporting. Why do you think we become teenagers and we rebel and we want to go out on our own? I think nature has set us up. It's like birds. I'm flying away from the nest. I don't need this place. I'm going to go take care of my own life, right? And get my own worms. So St. Matthew's House sounds like a tremendous avenue to help people. And why not support the same kind of thing in your own community, which will cut down on the problem with homelessness, drug addiction, crime, all of those things. I'll make sure I put a link to St. Matthew's House on Dan's show notes page. Let's talk a little bit about your passion for cars, Dan, because I know you're a car guy. Is there a special vehicle in your life? And if so, what is that car? And tell me something about that ride that made it so special for you.
I think as of late, it's the DB9. Something about that car, 12 cylinders, naturally aspirated, beautiful design. I think of the last rides, I went with a group of friends, one Diablo, I think one Testarossa, and an M5 competition. I remember my friend in the Testarossa saying, I looked in the rearview mirror and I'm working it and I'm driving this car and you're just sitting there paddling, just relaxed and just enjoying yourself. And what an amazing car. And so what a great touring car and what a great car to drive. And I'm a huge fan. My current favorite.
Well, they're beautiful. I mean, over 500 horsepower. What, 6 liter V12, I think, in that thing?
6-liter V12, yeah.
Whoa, yeah. I mean, just smooth as glass, sporty. I love the look of them, the design. I remember when the first Vantage came out, I thought, oh man, that's a pretty looking car. But when I drove the Vantage, I wanted it to be more than it was. But the 9, that's plenty. That's plenty of car. Yeah, you picked a good one there. I'm going to be your car psychologist here, Dan. I'm going to crawl into your skull. If you were manifest as a car, what would Dan be? More importantly, why?
Ooh, that's a good one. I got to tell you, I mean, I'm a huge fan of a V12 Colombo motor car. So
no.
I would say any Ferrari with a V12. Who isn't, huh? Yeah. There probably are those that aren't.
Yeah.
The folks that like the EVs and such.
Yeah. So the V12. So if we talk about the Colombo motor, and those motors were in a lot of different Ferraris. So let's narrow Dan down a little bit to which one you would be.
I guess maybe because it's fresh in my mind, that 330 GTC that we took for a spin the other day is just.
Well, that car is a beautiful, I mean, they're fast, they're fun, they're sporty, but they're also a beautiful, what I would call kind of a gentleman's touring car.
Yep, absolutely.
Is that a good interpretation?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that I love about it. It's a great, gentleman tour. It has plenty of zip. It sounds great. It's fun to drive, but it's also somewhat refined. And so I am a fan of that balance.
Yeah, those are really pretty cars. And for a long time, I looked at those cars and I wasn't quite sure about the back end. And, I'm a fan of the SWB, the 250 SWB.
Yep.
The Aston Martin DB4 Zagato bodied car, which has a lot of the same kind of imagery. Yep. But the more I look at the GTC and that beautiful greenhouse effect of that C pillar, B pillar, so thin, and all that glass around you. Yeah, I maybe I'm maturing with my age or something.
I also figured everybody would say, and I'm with you, a DB4 Zagato bodied car is probably to me the most beautiful car ever made. But I felt that was too much, and I felt that was a too common of an answer. You know what I mean? Something about the 330C, it seems realistic, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, they're really beautiful cars. Yeah, I've never had the luxury. I've seen, of course, many of them, but never had the luxury of driving one. What was the ride like?
It's spectacular.
Enough said.
Yeah, it's truly amazing for a 67. The only other car that I've driven that's that well balanced, smooth, good handling, just raw, fun to drive would be a 65 Shelby. That was another car that I thought, it's a Mustang. How good could it be, right?
Oh, okay.
And I'll never forget hopping in the passenger seat and taking it for a spin with a friend who just acquired one. And both of us were just amazed. And it basically reiterated why everybody had such a love for that car, because it handled so well. There wasn't a squeak. The performance to weight ratio was great. It was very, very impressive for something from 1965, which doesn't seem like that long ago, but I don't know. I feel like technology has come such a long way. So rather impressive build on that as well.
At first, I thought you were going to say a Cobra, and I went, wait, how can you compare a Cobra to a Ferrari GTC? But you're talking about the GT350, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
65.
I had a 65, and it was built by a friend of mine's dad into a GT350 clone. It was such an accurate wannabe car, I guess you could call it, or whatever, that I took it to a Mustang show once. Actually, long story, but I'll make it short. By mistake, parked it there and left to go to an all-British field meet that was on a campus next door. And when I came back, there was a trophy next to my car with a note saying, "Where the hell were you? You won first place in the GT350 division." And I went, uh-oh, this isn't a real one. And I ended up finding the guy who came in second, and I actually drove over to his house and gave him the trophy. I said, I didn't even know they were going to judge my car. I just parked it because it was a free place to park. And, but that's how good of a clone this was. But I'll tell you, I drove that car to work, and I live in the Northwest where it rains in the winter and it's a little cold.
Yep.
It was a little dicey to drive when it got icy, but, that car, that engine, and that was exact spec engine, was like, I always say this, it was like a sewing machine. It was just wonderful. The way it sounded, it just was a wonderful car to drive, comfortable, except for the idiosyncrasies of, the back end could break loose pretty fast and it would fog up, the windows would fog up, all the stuff old cars do, but it was super reliable. I don't think I ever had any problem except for a radiator hose breaking one time. And one of the rear wheels blew apart because it was 14 years old, but it looked new because the car had never been driven. Learned about date codes on tires the hard way. But wonderful car. So yeah, that brings back a smile to my face. Is there a book you'd like to share with us that you really enjoyed reading?
Not to sound cliche, but I would say I remember The Prince by Machiavelli, and perhaps the Art of War by Sun Tzu. I think would be a great reading for anybody. Just interesting perspective on strategy and trying to keep your mind sharp and things that apply from so long ago to today and to any circumstance.
Two classics for sure. So before I let you go today, Dan, and get on with your busy travel schedule, I'm going to allow you to go on the ultimate drive, which means there's no money worries for you here. I'm going to pay for it all. Yeah. You can pick any car. You can pick anybody, living or deceased, and you can go for a drive anywhere. What does that ultimate drive look like for a guy who not too long ago drove a 330 GTC?
If this is the dream, then I think it's got to be the DB4 Zagato.
Okay.
With Winston Churchill. From Peking to Paris.
Oh my gosh. Now, insane. That's an insane drive. Wow. That's very interesting. Well, I wonder, with Winston Churchill being the character he was, I wonder if you'd want to stop and toss him out the door halfway through. And I mean that in all sincerity. Love Winston Churchill. I mean, what a man. I mean, just insane history, but quite a strong character. So, but that would be quite a drive. Yeah.
I figure it's quite a driving conversation. He's just a fascinating fella.
Absolutely.
I don't know what it is about the guy, but
I get some unique answers to that question, but that one is right up there. Yeah. Maybe in the top 10. Wow. Very cool.
Glad I could make the top 10.
Yeah. Not bad. Not bad at all. Well, you've taken us on a fun ride, and I really appreciate your time. Before I let you go, could you share maybe some words of inspiration, words of wisdom, maybe something as we dive into the new year here?
Never give up. Always look forward.
There's a Winston Churchill quote. Back. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like that's the best way to be. Learn from your mistakes, learn something new every day, and just keep on moving forward. Otherwise you get bogged down in negativity. It just slows you down.
Yeah, I love that. Never give up. Always look forward. Never look back. And it's a lot like my listeners know I have a saying by Ayrton Senna on my business card. The past is just data. I only see the future. So I think coming off of 2 years of COVID madness, I know we're still in it a bit, but you know what? Look forward. Look at the positive. I don't think any of us have ever lived in a time of mankind that is more incredible, optimistic, offers so many opportunities than we have now, even though there's some stuff going on I know we got to deal with. But you know what? There always is, there always has been, and there always will be. So onward and upward into this new year, my friend. How can people learn more about the Naples Motorcar Auctions, the Saratoga Auto Museum, and these events that you're going to be a part of?
So the auction, NaplesMotorcarAuctions.org is the website. And if you Google the Naples Motorcar Experience, there's a page that'll lead you through buying a ticket for the Jetport Reception. The auction has its own website. And I believe for tickets you can buy online also for the Cars on Fifth, or they can be purchased, I think, at the day of at the venue.
There you go. I'll put all these links on Dan's show notes page. Just go to the Cars Yeah website. Everything will be there. If you find yourself in Florida, or maybe it's time to go to Florida if you live where it's snowy and or where I live, although it's sunny today, but it can rain a lot where I live. This time of year, the days get very short and dark and wet. I think Florida sounds like a wonderful venue, so you can check out all these events. Go there, say hello to Dan. It's going to be a blast for sure. I also want to do a thank you. Dustin Lannerman at the Saratoga Automotive Museum. He's the one who introduced me to Dan. So Dustin, thank you very much for setting this up. Dan, thanks for being so generous today with your time and expertise and for sharing a wonderful event with us. Until you and I talk again, I'll see you at the Naples Motorcar Auction.
Sounds good, Mark. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. This was fun. Safe travels, my friend.
Thank you, Mark.
If you're listening to this program, there's a pretty good chance you believe what I believe, that the collector vehicles we love are more than just a means of getting from one place to the other. They're a part of our culture, our identity, and as a people, they bring us together at vintage races, classic car auctions, and 1,000-mile rallies. That's why I support the RPM Foundation, which exists to ensure that the critical skills necessary to preserve and restore these important vehicles aren't lost to time. RPM stands for Restoration, Preservation, and Mentorship, and their goal is to inspire the next generation of vehicle restoration professionals through its outreach programs. And they include Shop Hop, Off to the Races, the RPM Future Class, and many others. These programs engage talented young people across the country and connect them with mentors and a variety of opportunities in the industry. For more information on how the RPM Foundation is driving the future of collector vehicles skilled trade, visit rpm.foundation today.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.